And no matter what it is, it slowly... No matter what, everything is subject to coming apart, to entropy. If you're not actively attending to something, then it will come apart faster. Everything's always coming apart. Nothing lives or lasts forever. But if you don't attend to it, then it's going to disappear even quicker. What am I doing with my life? So what have I been thinking about? Notice it. Notice it. This is falling apart right in front of your eyes. Even right now when you're amongst it and it's feeling great. There's no reason to worry about it going, but it is going as everything is going. Earlier today I was at the apartment I'm moving out of, and there was one bonsai tree there which I'd put away in a corner because for the life of me I thought this thing was dead. I thought it fucked it up too many ways, transplanted it when it was weak, done all these things, and it just seemed unresponsive and dead. And so it's been up in this corner for at least a month now. A couple of months probably. And today I look out, I'm outside and I'm giving my cat a pet, petting Indy, and she's getting older. So I'm noticing, well, this is another thing that's not going to be always around. This is something that's coming apart right now. I'm aware of it. It's not happened yet. It's not going to happen for a while, but it's going to happen, and it's in the process of coming apart. But then I look over, not to the corner, but the corner of the balcony's in my eye, where I placed that dead bonsai. And I see it has green sprouting all around it, from its tips. And I swore this thing was dead. And that's how it is sometimes. You think it's over. So yeah, things are falling apart constantly. And not constantly as if like one thing after another. Sometimes it may feel like that. But what I mean is that every moment is how it is, and then it's drifting from that into something new. Beyond a morality of better and worse, it's always shifting. And unless we are attending to the function of some kind of system that maintains itself, then it will fall apart. And so if we're in the good times, what we feel like are the good times, and we want them to continue, we want them to prosper, then we need hypervigilance. We need to be aware that everything comes apart, and we need to take notice of what is it that keeps what we love together, and sacrifice whatever it is towards keeping that together, if that's our number one priority. Friend groups, acquaintances, work friends, all of these different things come together, and over time they're very cohesive and everyone's interacting, and then over time things shift, everyone's in their own slightly other direction, and then all of a sudden that scene or that group or that whatever it is no longer remains. There's no explicit moment. It's just the effect of what we would call time. I think that's part of the basis of why anyone acts in the world at a fundamental level, is trying to find something relatable and understandable that could explain this bizarre situation of having a body and living in the world is. But there is no explanation. What am I doing with my life? It's like a prompt. Keep telling it to yourself. Makes you think about it. Makes you remember everything's coming apart. Everything's coming apart. And there is no refuge in this world. You must accept that. It does make you sad. It can make you sad to be thinking from the perspective that everything's coming apart. Because you can look at your pet and know that it will be dead. You can look at your relationship and know that one day one of you will die. You can look at your family and see those that will die, and that you'll die and leave them. And from this context, we think, what matters then? If the reality is all of this is coming apart at the seams in every moment, then what's our perspective? How not to fall into nihilism? It's so easy to be comfortable. This world that we live in, the society and civilization that has built, is founded on baby-proofing reality. And part of that makes things very comfortable. You don't have to face things. You don't have to face hard things. You still do, but not the same way. And there's cushions, and the edges are off. But it's not reality. Reality comes from meditating and facing things, pushing past your feelings and your preconceptions of thought. Reality is not something that is in the comfort zone. It can be scary stuff to have to face mentally, these concepts and ideas. But that's the tricky part. You have to use these concepts and ideas to get to a certain place. But at a certain point, even those are just concepts and ideas which are to be discarded. Everything's dying. Everything's moving on, just as the world moves forward and new life comes. But you have choice as to what you want to keep around and what you don't want to overrun your life. And so if everything is coming apart, what is it that you want to stay? What is it you want to keep together? And the spider is currently biting into its head, injecting the paralysis or whatever the fuck. And the fly just getting it. It's going like it's seizing up. See, this is what I'm saying. Everything is coming apart constantly. This is gruesome. This is life, right in front of my eyes. The thing about everything falling apart is that sometimes, or most of the time, we don't notice it's happening. Because change happens little bit by little bit. So like I was saying before, it's not constantly like bam, bam, big thing after another. It's always, in every moment, small things changing. And if you remove yourself from being aware of that for too long, then whole swaths of reality will have shifted right before your eyes. I remember when I first got a cross tattooed on my face, people started to look at me differently. the main thing was that I noticed people weren't smiling at me as much. Like, if I look at someone, I'll smile at them, but I noticed a marked decline in those who would smile back. And at the time, that required a shift in identity of perceiving who I am. If people are gonna react like this differently to me based on just a facade, and I'd previously been basing people, like my identity, largely on how people treated me, then the fact that just looking slightly different affected that how people treated me seemed to throw a spanner in the works. Seemed to be like, oh, okay, well, this doesn't mean anything then. Doesn't matter how people react to me. The thing is, that was like 8 years ago now, 7-8 years ago. And I actually previously only remembered that that's how things used to be. Because I'm so used to now that being the regular, the way people look at me, the kind of varied looks that one gets. I'd forgotten, and I reflected and I thought, wow, things can change so much, but you just get used to it. Each day you get used to it, and the more you receive that stimulus, the more that stimulus is normal. And that's how everything is taken away from us. That's how everything comes apart right before our eyes. It's like if you were to watch shadows move from the sun. It can only be a few minutes, and you will have noticed it was at one spot and now it's slightly further. But if you actually spend those 180 seconds watching it, it seems like it almost doesn't move. And then at one moment, it might move something that you have been using as a marker, and you're like, okay, it's moved, but the whole time it seems to have not moved. And yet 3 minutes goes by, 5 minutes goes by, it becomes obvious. So how long are we going to let it go by before it becomes obvious to us that everything is coming apart? It needs to become more obvious. Everything is coming apart. And what am I doing with my life? What am I doing about it? The more aware you are of everything, the more aware you are that constantly things are coming apart. The more you pay attention to everything, the more you notice everything's coming apart. I think it's important to remember that story I just told about the bonsai in context of thinking that things are always coming apart. Because you're left in a place where it's scary, it's full on. Everything's always falling apart. No, coming apart. But you got to keep your cool. Meditation will help. Good sleep will help. But certain beliefs will also help. Certain concepts. As I said, at a certain point things can be discarded. Concepts, ideas. But you don't want to discard everything all the time. You essentially need these things to exist within civilized reality, consensual reality with other people. It's required to have agreed upon concepts and stuff. When you're going deep into the universe, meditation, you can get rid of them. You need to be able to get rid of them, but have them around when you're, you need a hammer if you're going to throw some nails into a bit of wood. You can't meditate so hard that you can just slam nails into things with your forehead. And the important concept, I think, with that bonsai story is that no matter how far gone things seem to be, no matter how resolute you are on the way things are, things can always take a 180. You never know. The thing might be dead, or the thing might not be dead. You might look at it one day and see a whole bunch of new growth out of what you thought was dead wood. It's hopeful, I guess, in a sense. I think in order to really understand someone, you need a dialogue where words are used across a large context of other words and sentences and paragraphs, and you get to understand another person through all that. New growth can come out of dead wood, or what we previously presumed was dead wood. And maybe we're right, maybe it is dead and it builds up and there's a fire that burns it away magnificently. Either way, there's new life. Whether that comes at the ultimate sacrifice or whether that comes from a new perspective. Whether that comes from an ultimate sacrifice or whether that comes from a new perspective. New life always arises. And new life is just like the old life, but it's now instead of was. It is instead of has been. So everything's coming apart. Things have come apart while you're watching this video. If you're not meditating, start meditating now with me. Because I'm in the same position as you are and I'm about to start again, so let's start together. Take note of things constantly changing. And remember, the same thing applies to you and everything you know. Everything is coming apart at the seams. Always. And from those seams, new life can come forth. And the direction of that new life can be influenced by you. That's another bonsai metaphor, because what we do is we apply wiring to new growth. And we direct the orientation of its branches as they thicken, so that the end product is a position which has been influenced by choice. Nature. Don't forget it. Everything is coming apart. Everything is coming apart. Not in the conventional sense in which, oh, my life's falling apart. That's why I'm not using falling. I keep trying to say coming apart. Because falling apart implies peril, implies gravity. But coming apart just implies time to me. I think we all understand with a certain age that things don't last. You can look at your baby toys and see that they're pretty... You can look at them and see that they're tattered. But when they were new, they were new. And over the time in which you've been alive, things have come apart. Many things have come apart. To a certain extent, you've come apart over the years. You're not what you used to be. Do you like that you're not what you used to be? Or perhaps there's parts of you used to be that you fondly remember and wish that you still were. There have been times, particularly when I'm meditating more, that upon reflection, it would be preferable to continue acting like that, now that I'm living in the contrast of that situation. But that's not to say that right now is wrong. It's just to say that from this point I make that choice and move in that direction. There's no good or bad or morality about it. It's just how we are reflecting reality. Within that reflection is an inherent distortion, but how distorted is widely variable and up to your choice. It'll never be pristine, but you can shape it in a beautiful, truthful way. They say life is but a dream. But if that's true, then I don't know what I've been eating with my toast all these years. But a dream. Like a dream. Gotcha. Dreams kind of come and go, and it's like a whirlwind. And they're saying life is like that. It's like a whirlwind slowed down. You experience the whole thing over this long trajectory. But the whole time a whirlwind was whirling. You were in the eye of it the whole time. And at times you came up to the edges. And it became very obvious that things are constantly coming apart. Constantly coming apart. Constantly. Consonantly. So that's partly where I'm at right now. Things are constantly coming apart. Everything's going apart. But new life springs out of dead wood. And if we can run with those new perspectives, then we can shape reality in a way in which is beautiful. But if we're not aware of it, we're not meditating, we're not taking note, then life will pass by like a whirlwind. And at the end of it, you'll don't know what the hell just happened. Where did it all go? When did it start coming apart? It was always coming apart. Just as everything that's about to be is always coming to be, everything that is coming apart. the center of those two concepts is new life out of old wood. It's right there always, whether you see it or not. But take note and you see it. Take note of the dead wood, you see everything's coming apart. Take note of the new life and you see your opportunity. Speaking of records, multilinear 12-inch vinyl now available at raisegod.com.